That's not gonna happen, please.
I wanted to start the new year on a good note, so I bought myself the Zelda Link's Awakening remake. I had reservations about the art style at first, but the game won me over on that. As someone who holds the original very near and dear to his heart, I am happy to say that this rendition is fantastic, and I could easily see someone experiencing the same feelings I had when I first played this game as a kid. I was very pleased that that it's a great version of the game that I can recommend. I've been a casual fan of the Momodora series for a while now, and by casual, I mean I played a bit of the first one and the second one, but I didn't finish either. So it felt overdue in giving one of the games a full experience, and I bought this one, and I'm glad I did. Buy it and try it. This game has a somber atmosphere, and that sort of thing can be a make or break deal for me, but you know, this one worked. Sometimes that atmosphere gets really exhausting to me, but I can say I didn't feel tired at all while playing through this dreary world. Kirby 64 is my favorite Kirby game, and it's kind of part of like this little trilogy, with Kirby's Dream Land 2 being the first entry, and let me tell you, did not have a great time. It was alright, it was okay, even, but there's so many little annoying level design choices that make me feel cheated. Like I would take a left when I would show like two options, and if I took a left, I would feel like I would get sucker punched. It wasn't good. Maybe if I plugged it into my Super Game Boy and I got all the fun colors, I'd have a better time, but I didn't like it that much. What other people see as like gimmicks, I see as like potential for a unique experience. Using the touchscreen to control Kirby as opposed to traditional controls was a really fun time. Not to mention the game's like beautiful to look at. It's games like this that make me really yearn for more unconventional ways of controlling a character in-game. And Moss is tangential in that yearning. For the unaware, Moss is a VR game where the player controls this mouse named Quill, and she's such a cute character. I love the detail of her knowing sign language, but the controls are rather straightforward. But since the game is in VR, the puzzles are really interesting. Like being able to physically lean in and take in the environment in ways that other games can't was really something else. Like if I want to look down a hallway, I have to lean forward and look left. That was really cool. Loved that. What a wonderful time. I played this game with someone else, and despite being a single-player game, at the time anyways, it felt very cooperative with the two of us solving puzzles together. And while the presentation and concept of terrorizing this town as a goose are great selling points, I really enjoyed solving all the puzzles the game threw at me, and that's what I walked away with. It's also just funny. This first year has some weird entry placements as I was figuring it out, and Picross S is one of them. Typically I place a game on these lists once I finish them. Sometimes I'll place them on the list when I've started playing them, depending on the game. This entry's neither. I've been playing Picross S for a while now. I was just playing it a lot at the time. I love the Picross E series on the 3DS, so I'm glad that the Picross series has continued on the Switch. I love these games. I play them for hours. I'm not that good at them, but I play them for hours. Like with the previous entry, I did not start playing this game right here. I've been playing it for a while, but Tomodachi Life is kind of the game that I always pop on and off again. Like, I'll play it for a while and then put it back down, and this was one of those times. I'm still hoping for a new entry in the series. I always like this like weird little quirky time, and when I go back to it, it's a nice time. In a sort of warm-up for the upcoming Animal Crossing game, New Horizons, some friends and I played Wild World, which for all of us was a very nostalgic time. It was my first Animal Crossing back in the day, and I had a wonderful time returning to it. What I kind of find neat about the Animal Crossing series is that when returning to another entry, it doesn't feel like I'm playing a lesser version, but instead playing a different flavor of what's being offered. And Wild World might be my favorite flavor, but I have to think about that. Of course, given what year this was, it was very nice to have a new Animal Crossing. There's going to be a niche episode about this at some point, so I won't yammer on too much. And I don't have anything too groundbreaking to say here. I got my praises and gripes, but it was very nice of having a way of interacting with the people I care about when I wasn't able to see them. And for that, regardless of my critique, this game will always have like a very important feeling to me. Despite being a pretty huge Sonic nerd, I've never actually gotten the good ending in Sonic CD. I figured I would take the Time Stones approach, and let me tell you, I stink at those pseudo 3D things. It's the reason why I'm lousy at Super Mario Kart, but with that game it has the power of charm and great tunes making it for the difference. Sonic CD stages just drive me up the wall. There's great music, but I can't play them. But regardless, I had a wonderful time with Sonic CD. I kind of wanted to play it again, actually. So I played it again. This time I went for all the generators and I played as Tails. Because there's two ways to get the good endings, and one is looking in each level for the generator. I always thought that would be a mundane time, but it was actually very satisfying. Playing as Tails who can fly probably helped though. I also played with both the Japanese soundtrack and the American soundtrack, but I can't remember which playthrough had which. My hot take is that I'm not sure which soundtrack I prefer. This was not a video game, this was a movie. I was just being silly and I put it here. You know, it's a comedy with Zac Efron from 2009. It was exactly what I expected. I got nothing more to say. This was the year I discovered that I might actually like Sonic CD more than Sonic 2. To be clear, I think Sonic 2 is a better game than Sonic CD, but I think there's just something about Sonic CD that appeals to me more. Or it could be that I played Sonic 2 like dozens of times and Sonic CD feels more fresh. Regardless, Sonic 2, always a good time, and playing as Knuckles made it a little bit more exciting. Yeah. A certified classic from my youth that will absolutely get an entry in Niche Appreciation Club at some point. I've always loved the atmosphere of this game. I like how the challenges escalate rather naturally, with a good sense of humor as well, and the music is on point. Flashy Goodness is the person behind this soundtrack, and I've been a fan of their work ever since. ASCII Soft, the developers of this game, would later go on to make Katana Zero, and I think I'll finally check that out this year. Either way, Tower of Heaven is fantastic. The 20-year-old Sonic game built with a Doom engine. That's a wild pitch, but I wanted to give it a shot. I didn't beat the game, I ended up tapping out towards this castle level, but what I experienced I quite enjoyed. It's impressive how much work and love has gone into this unofficial Sonic game, and that it's, you know, praised so highly. It rocks. Its mere existence is awesome. The Etrian Odyssey series is one of my favorites, but I didn't start with the first game, I started with 4. After playing that, I loved it so much that I would go buy the first 3 games, and that was a very good move considering how much they would spike up in price later. I would later play several other entries before playing the original though, and this year I decided to change that. I did not like it. It's unbalanced in really weird ways, like at some points I was getting steamrolled, but then I was also steamrolling. It wasn't good. I did not like some of the bosses. I bought an action replay to get through it. I did not like this game. Oi! Minecraft is always a good time when the mood strikes. Just kick up a server and some friends and I will play on it for a while. We've been doing that since 2011 and this was our World 8. We beat the Ender Dragon, haven't done that since 2011, and various miscellaneous other adventures. Having something like this during 2020 as well was obviously a nice thing to have in the same way that having Animal Crossing New Horizons was. And you know, with Minecraft, it's just always a good time. I'm never upset when I play this game. I get upset. I should rephrase. I had a good time. I had a good time. Video games with meta elements can be hit or miss for me. Like when they miss, I feel annoyed because I've been sucked out of the experience so aggressively, but when they hit, the experience is elevated because of how in sync I become with the game, and I'm glad to say that One Shot falls into the latter category for me. I enjoyed all the characters and the world they lived in, but I also enjoyed getting to know the protagonist, Nico, along the way in a way that I don't usually do in other games, and I don't want to spoil anything, but it was very unique. This was actually just me finishing up a playthrough from 2017. I had a lot of the post-game stuff to do. With that said, I still had a wonderful time. I even got my Pokewalker out and attached a lanyard so I could attach it to my keychain, and it's still attached. At the moment, I'm up to 5,388,202 steps. I couldn't get into Tetris 99, nor any of the games in a similar vein that would come out afterwards, such as Pac-Man 99 or F-Zero 99. I guess Battle Royales aren't my thing, but I really got into Super Mario Bros. 35, and I miss being able to play it. It was such a blast, and I could even win games. There was a chaotic momentum to each match, and the mad scramble to not lose was a blast. I used blast twice there, but I'm not gonna rewrite it. I'm tired. I want this video to be done. So I'm old, and I've been playing this series since Pokemon Yellow, which was before this one. I was very young when these games came out, but that said, this game always has like a certain factor to it. It's the one that my friends and I would play the most as kids. Like, it was like peak Pokemon for like my youth, where everyone was playing it, and like we were all connecting our games, so it has like this certain aura to it that always like takes me back. That aside though, it's a great game and one of my favorites in the series. I'm sure I'll talk about it more when it gets an entry in Niche Appreciation Club. After wrapping up Pokemon Ruby, I actually tried to play Pokemon Shield for the first time. Got an hour in and decided, nah. So I replayed Pokemon XD instead, which I hadn't done as a kid, and let me tell you something. Wonderful time. I liked it as a kid, and I was very glad to see it was better than I remembered. Absolutely one of my favorites in the franchise. It's so different and weird. And like, I think that's important with a series that's gotten as stale as this. Yeah. I don't know why this is here. It's not like this is the first time I've played or anything. I was just playing a lot of Smash Ultimate at the time. I don't know. I like it. It's fun. I don't got anything else to say.
Alright, stop, slow, measure, pound like a Nintendo song or something.
Chemical was one of those first games dropped in Nintendo Switch's eShop, so I feel like a lot of people who got the system around the first year probably have this game, and I was one of those people. I bought it because I enjoyed the Fairune series, another set of games from the same developer, and I was right because I enjoyed this one as well. It's pretty straightforward, but it's got a lot of charm going through it. I've never been the biggest fan of Kirby Superstar. Like, I think it's a fun game and I get the appeal, but it's never clicked for me. I figured I should at least give it the full treatment, like give it a proper chance, but unfortunately I walked away feeling the same way I entered. A game that has bits I like, but as a whole, the game isn't doing much for me. I did play this solo though, and I'm kind of curious that if I played it with like 2 people, maybe I would enjoy it more, and it has my favorite ability in the series, Mirror. It's just fun, so I'm down to give this game another shot, but for now, that's just where I am. I had an alright time. The Mario series, specifically the platformers, are always a series I take for granted. I like them well enough, and Super Mario World is a very nostalgic game for me. It's not the first time I've played it though. Like, I always think I always think of Mario games as good, but relatively straightforward experiences. And maybe they are, but let me tell you, after finishing Super Mario World, I had a great feeling. Kind of like after eating a fantastic meal, I just felt incredibly satisfied. I wanted to send off Flash in a nice way, so I played a bunch of Flash games, and I also played a new one for me, Pop Tropica, although I'm pretty sure I played the HTML5 version. But I never played this game as a kid, and honestly, I think I was missing out. The worlds I went through were a lot of fun to explore, and even as an adult, I had a great time figuring out the puzzles. Thankfully, Pop Tropica has been preserved by converting itself to HTML5. I'll reveal it again, I don't know the terminology. And also that Flash emulation and preservation efforts have been going well thanks to the likes of Ruffle and Newgrounds.